Thank you so much, guys, for behaving so nicely, and thank you to in-charge miss and all the teachers present for coming here. So today we are presenting on behalf of Academia Study Abroad session, and we want to congratulate Sarika Sayara. You already heard her praises from in-charge miss, but after I tell you her introduction, you will want to listen more closely what she has to offer here today. So we often hear like big promises about like study abroad, and we often think like, okay, can I actually manage it, and what should I do right now, or how can I achieve or go into a really good foreign university? And that is why it is important to see one of our own alumni to know how she went through her journey and what she did specifically throughout her school years to achieve this achievement. And she has got full scholarship in Bryn Mawr College in United States, and this is not one of the achievements she got. She will be explaining more on how to get this for everyone and what are the steps we can take. And later on, I will invite all of you to go to our help desk there. It's one for Academia IELTS and the other is Academia Study Abroad. And register yourself for more upcoming information on how you can go through this pathway to foreign universities. Now I would like to ask Sarika to come and start her presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Satmasjid and in charge miss, for such a lovely introduction. I don't think that I have personally achieved something that's so great. However, I also feel that a lot of the times we have a lot of presentations in academia or in other places as well. A lot of people will come to you, mostly from agencies, and they'll be telling you, "Oh, go to this college, you'll get this. Go to this college, you'll get this." I'm not here to do any of that. I'm just here to tell you the things that I wish I knew maybe like 5 years ago. For context, I graduated in 2024, so I completed my A levels in 2024 from academia. It's been quite a bit, honestly. It's been quite a bit of a time. And in the meantime, I have done a few things which I'll be talking about. But more importantly, this is going to be your introduction to understand whether or not you should study abroad, and if you should, how you should guide yourself from now onwards, whether you're in grade 10, in 8, or even in grade 9, or even A levels, so you can achieve what your biggest or your most potential is really about. So, why should you listen to me? I'm pretty sure a lot of you are feeling, oh, I could just, gossip with my friend beside me. But why should you listen to me? Here are some of the reasons. The first is, how many of you know about the SAT or SAT? Raise your hands. Quite a lot of you. Would any of you care to describe the exam for me? Anyone?
Raise your hand.
I saw quite a lot of hands. You know what the exam is about, so would you care to describe? The one in the back, you have your hand raised. Do you want to describe what the SAT is about? Or just tell us what you know. It's okay. No pressure. Okay. So how many of you are like that? You have heard the name, but you don't know what it's about. Okay, we have a few hands here, few hands there. So the SAT is a standardized test. You know about O levels and A levels. These are also standardized tests. What do we mean by standardized test? Some tests, let's say the marking classwork that you just had. Let's say you're talking to a student from Sunnydale, and that student has also given their marking classwork. But the difficulty might not match. You might have a very hard pure maths exam. I know personally, I struggle a lot with pure maths. It's I think the hardest O-level subject there is. So, congratulations to all of you for even attempting and being brave enough to go ahead with it. I believe in you. So, how do you compare between you and a student in Sunnydale? That's where these exams come up. So, like the O-levels or A-levels that you guys are going to give, these exams are administered worldwide and everyone gets the same questions. So if everyone gets the same question, we can now get between you and a student from Sunnydale because the question was same. So now we know whether or not you are at a certain level with the other people of your grade or the other people in the rest of the countries. So that's what the SAT is about. It's mostly administered for students who want to go to America, but in recent years, there are other universities in other parts of the world where they also accept the SAT and give scholarship based on that. Do any of you want to study, I don't know, in Japan or Europe, somewhere in Finland, maybe Denmark? We have a hand here. Anyone else? Okay, we have a few hands there. Okay, so good for you. These universities, for example, in Finland, Japan, and even I think in Malaysia, some of the universities, they give scholarship based on the SAT. So if you get a good enough score, if you get in the 90th percentile, you will get a very good amount of scholarship. So what I did essentially was I got 1530 in the SAT out of 1600. So this is the 99th percentile score, which means it's in the top 1% worldwide. And I have also helped students get that score, not necessarily just by tutoring, but also through videos, workshops. I did countless workshops online to help students also get really good score. This is actually not my score, like the 1500, it's one of my students. So I'm very proud of them. Apart from that, I've also gained admission to the University of Toronto in Canada. I got their International Student Award, which essentially covered my tuition for all my years there. I also got into Duke Kunshan, which is also an amazing university. The Duke is also in US and also in China. So I got into their China campus, which also lets you do a few courses in the American one as well. And I also got into Bryn Mawr College, where I'm currently studying, and I'll tell you why I chose Bryn Mawr over the rest of the places. Because a lot of the times people come to me and they're like, Aku, you got into University of Toronto. Everybody knows its name. My dad knows its name. Why are you not going there? What's so special about this university that I don't even know the name to? Like, why are you going? So we'll also cover that. And lastly, I work directly on the US university applications. I have personally helped around 30 to 40 people. Another great help is actually Moshumi Miss from Academia Study Abroad. She had been a very, very good help to me when I was applying. So I'm sure she'll help you guys out too. Okay, now that I have your attention, let's move on. So this is my timeline. How many of you are in grade 8? Can you please raise your hands? Oh, a lot of you. What about grade 9 or 10? 9 or 10 a few people. And anyone from A-levels, AS or A2? Okay, we have a few of you here. So what you have to do now depends a lot on which grade you are in. The ones who are in grade 8 or 9, for you, the biggest thing that you have to do right now is study. I'm sorry, I know you guys were hearing some wonderful answer, but you do have to study. But apart from that, also participate in a lot of extracurriculars. For example, I have been in academia from Playgroup to A-levels, so it's been a long time. I used to participate in mock cabinets, so that was very popular when I was a student. I also was a part of the Academia Debate Club. I debated for quite a few years, and it was the most amazing time of my life. I also participated in the Math Olympia that we have in school. I'm sure some of you guys have participated in that. So that's also technically considered an ECA. And apart from all of this, make yourself busy. A lot of the students, they're I don't know what I'm interested in. I don't know what I should study. So how do you figure out how to study? By doing things. By participating in extracurricular activities. I did Math Olympiad, I realized that I like maths. Maybe not too much, but I still like it. I am actually majoring in maths now, but anyways, I did not like it back when I was in middle school or even in my O-levels because further maths really like traumatized me because I felt that it was very, very difficult, but it gets easier in A-levels. A-levels math is actually really easy. So for you guys who are like in grade 8 or 9, these are the two things that you need to do. ECAs and making sure your grades are nice. A lot of the time people are like, I did a lot of ECAs, but my grades are like, I don't know, a 5 or a 6. Or even like a 4 out of like 9. And that's not a good decision. Do not over-engage yourself to the level that your grades are suffering, but make sure you also do something that's not studying. For example, a friend of mine, Zamil, he was also in academia. So he is currently studying in Australia, and he was also a very good student. He still is, but his interests were different from mine. So I'm more of a cultural person. I used to participate all the time in all the cultural programs that happen here. I used to sing, I used to dance. Zamil didn't like any of those things. Zamil was more of a math person and a physics person. So what did he do? He participated in math Olympiads. He did physics Olympiads. He did astrophysics Olympiads, and that were his skills. That's what he loved to do. So it's not necessary that everyone has to do Olympiads. It's not necessary that everyone has to, sing or dance or do crafts. Everyone has different interests. So make sure you are nurturing those interests, not just because of university applications, but also because it gives you joy, and it will teach you things that studies might not teach you. Life skills like actually persevering whenever you're not getting something right. So make sure you do those. For the rest of you who are in grade 10 or 11, this is the perfect time to start learning about university applications, what it's like, what are the things expected from you. We have Satmasjid here for you, Motion Miss, and a lot of other people in academia are ready to support you. So take advantage of those opportunities. As well as, so here you can see something called exchange year. Do any of you know what an exchange year is? Or have any of you heard of an exchange year? Yes, program, anything? Okay, two of you. So, would you guys like to go to America free for a year in high school? Would any of you like to go? Like, maybe not right now because of how things are, but in the past, a lot of the people, a lot of the students, they wanted to go to America, including myself, like for free. Why not? So that's what this Kennedy Lugar Youth Exchange Program is all about. From Bangladesh, they take students, I think around 29 students every year, all from all over Bangladesh. There are people from Rangpur, there are people from Dhaka, Chittagong, Rangamati, all over Bangladesh. They select people and after a very rigorous selection, and then they fly you to America for free. You get to do 1 year of your high school there, and then you come back to Bangladesh. So I was very fortunate enough to get selected to this exchange year. So I did gave my O levels here, and then I flew to America, and I studied in a high school there, and then came back here. So for a lot of you, right now especially, I think the program that I went to is actually no longer, is not going to be there from next year because of funding issues in the American government. But I know that other opportunities like this exist. Like, would any of you want to go to Japan for a year for free and study? Okay, someone's very interested there. I love how enthusiastic you are. And okay, we have people there as well. So there's also this program called Satmasjid. This lets you go to Japan for free again. They also give you a stipend to live there, have fun. Next, for those who are still in A-levels, my lovely people up here, take the SAT as soon as you can, even if you don't plan to go to America. Simply because of one, it gives you scholarships not just in America but in other countries as well, and two, it prepares you for all those entrance exams. Like recently, even yesterday, I went out and there was a huge traffic in the road because of the Dhaka University exams. I don't know if other people faced that. I did. And a lot of the questions in these sort of exams, English medium students, they struggle with it because it's very different. So the SAT, however, is very similar to a lot of the social sciences or business entrance exams that we have in the country. Actually, IB exam is extremely similar to the SAT. So if any of you want to study even in the country, go to IPA or the other top universities like BUP, NSU. These will come in handy. This will help you a lot. You get a boost from high school to understand what sort of things are expected from you and excel in these sort of things. Also for people who are interested to go to other countries. Okay, wait. You are very interested. What countries do you want to go to? Or do you want to apply to? Yes, you. Yes.
America,
America. Any other country?
Japan.
Japan. Anything else? Oh, it's okay. So for America, since you guys are from academia, you guys are English medium students, you don't need to give IELTS for America specifically. However, for Japan and other universities in around the world, even I think in Canada, right? It's a must. You have to give your IELTS, and it's best if you give it as soon as possible because for us English medium students, it's an easy exam. It's quite an easy exam, but the mistake that a lot of people make is that they give it too much, like in their A2 or in their gap year. And by then you are swamped with a lot of other things to do. You have to write your essays, you have to, get teacher recommendations, maybe you have to give a unit review. Anything can happen. So by then, you should be done with your IELTS and SAT. Lastly, I took a gap year. Do you guys know what a gap year is? What's a gap year? Your sister took one. Before university, yes. So a lot of the times, here what happens, you're done with grade 8, you graduate to grade 9. You're done with grade 9, you go to 10. 10, 11, 11, 12. However, sometimes what happens is that some people, they feel that after grade 12, they're still not sure what to do. Or they're still thinking, okay, maybe BBA, or how about computer science? I really like computers, what do I do? They're confused. Or maybe they're still thinking about their options. So for those people, a gap year might be an excellent option, however, it's not for everyone. I want to tell you guys that it's not for everyone. I have seen people who have taken gap years and totally fallen out of line. They, had too much fun. They were out with their friends every day. And at the end of the gap year, like literally one whole year, they realize they're no better than where they were a year ago. So don't be that person, don't be that student. If you really need to take a gap year, plan it strategically. Do a lot of extracurriculars. In my gap year, I shadowed gynecologists in hospitals. I volunteered there. I carried out surveys in slums of Dhaka. I did ethnographic research. I taught students the SAT and also enjoyed life. I think the last part a lot of people forget, but you need to do everything. There has to be a very perfect balance as to what you do. Not just studying, not just having fun, but having a mix of both. Now, I have spoken a lot about my timeline or what you guys should be doing, but let's explain things a little bit more. Like, what are foreign universities really looking like for? The most important one, as you can see, academics, your grades. Unfortunately, if you don't do well in your O-levels and A-levels, there is a very big chance that the university you attend or get admitted to might not be a good one or up to your expectations. So how do you overcome that? Of course, you study. But apart from that, you also apply to a wide range of universities. For example, how many of you want to apply in public in Dhaka or in Bangladesh, public universities? Any of you? We have one person there, two people there, someone in the back. So I had a few friends and a few juniors actually. They thought that they're only gonna study for public and then end up there. However, in life, there is a very big factor called uncertainty and luck. There's a student, I won't take his name, but recently he contacted me. He got, I think, 3 A stars in his A levels, a world highest in O levels, and I think also a country highest in A levels. So this is a very good student. This is a very good student. But he didn't get into any of the public universities in Bangladesh simply because of this thing called luck. He got A stars in A levels, which is really, really well. Really well. Like you have to get really good scores to get an A star in your A levels. But even then, he couldn't crack public because of how competitive it is. And the percentage of acceptance is lower than that of you attending an Ivy League in the US. It's that competitive. So don't just put all your eggs in the basket, like in one basket. Apply to public, maybe apply to private, maybe apply to some universities abroad. And the same goes for any country you're applying to. Recently, a friend, her visa got rejected from the Canadian embassy. Any of you ever heard someone get rejected from Canada in a university or like embassy? I did not, but it's happening. Unfortunately, because of the political climate in honestly the entire world, we are suffering a lot, especially with immigration and visa. So make sure you're not just applying to one country, but to a number of countries. The second most important thing is essay. How many of you like writing? Writing. We have a few hands. Okay. So essays are, I think, the second most important thing for applying to universities abroad. I think the only place, the only country actually where essays are not that useful is probably in Bangladesh. You don't have to write essays for any entrance exams. Actually, for IBA you have to. So yeah, that's also there. So you have to learn how to write good essays. Essays are not just writing about a day in your life or something about the sports day that happened or the sports tournament. It's a lot more than that. It's about expressing your interests. Like let's say you really like Japan for any number of reasons. Maybe you watch a lot of animes and you love Japan. So in that way, maybe you could write your essay about your love for Japan and how that has shaped you as a person and how that made you, maybe watching animes, you learned Japanese, you gave the Japanese language exams and got a lot better that way. So essays are not just about the things that we write in our O levels. In O levels English, the essays, the analytical essay, the descriptive essay, these essays are very different from those sort of essays. So if you're already in grade 8 or 9 or 10, 11, 12, whatever, even in gap year, learn how to write well, how to express yourself, because this will come in handy even after university. A lot of you might be like, let me first pass O levels, Apu, then we will talk about all of these things. And I get it. O levels is very overwhelming, given how many subjects you have, the difficulty, and other maths. However, each time you cross a level, you go from O levels to A levels to university, university to maybe job, things get harder. Things get more harder, more time consuming. You start to feel a drop in your energy levels. So the younger you are, essentially the more easier it is for you to learn new things and actually understand them very well. So make sure you are already preparing a little bit for the essays that you have to write. Maybe you don't have to write like a paragraph every day. Maybe just start thinking about what do I really like? What's something that I'm passionate about that I can write about? So start brainstorming those little ideas in your head. Then we have your ECA and the SAT. I've already spoken a lot about the ECA and the importance of it. I'm just going to say one more thing. For those of you who are interested in studying in America or even I feel in Canada, your extracurricular activities will only be counted from grade 9 or above. So the mock cabinets that I did or the debating that I did, they were before grade 9. So I had a hard time placing those in my Common App and in other portals. I think for the Canadian one, it's UCAS or something. So even in that portal, I had some issues giving those things because of how good it is. So this is actually your peak time to do new activities. to do things that you like to do, and it doesn't always have to be academic. How many of you like looking at reels and scrolling? I know I do. I really love reels. I think it's like really nice. Maybe not very good for your attention span, but it is what we like. You cannot deny it. You cannot just go and pretend to be a saint. I know someone who got into an Ivy League and he used to run a meme page. Crazy. You can also, maybe you have a page on Instagram that makes funny reels and you have, let's say, a few thousand followers, the engagement rate is really well, people are sharing your videos. That's also an extracurricular activity. I'm not saying that's all you should be doing. Please study. It's really important. If your grades are C and D, even the meme page with 100K followers would help you. But along with keeping an A or A star grade there, make sure you're also doing other extracurricular activities that fit in with your interests. The reason why I gave the example of my friend having a meme page is because we think a lot of the times that we have to do, as I mentioned before, Olympiads, or everyone has to do the same sort of thing. But it's not necessary. Maybe you have an art page. Maybe you have your art displayed in a lot of exhibitions. I had one of my art displayed in an exhibition, and I put that as my activity. So there can be a multitude of things that you can do, but the most important ones are the ones which have a lot of impact. So what do I mean by impact? What's the meaning of impact? Do you know the meaning of you know what the word is, but maybe not impact. Anyone? Miss? Okay.
How something affects society?
Yes, correct. Thank you. Something that affects society. Maybe through your, I know a friend during COVID, they used to play Valorant a lot. Even I used to play Valorant. I think it was like a very COVID-19 phase. And through their Valorant events, they used to fundraise money to give to the poor people in the slums during the winter in 2020 and 2021. So your activity has to be something that's giving a positive impact to society. It can be playing games, but then fundraising. Maybe you love art, you love drawing. You can maybe sell those drawings and the profit that you make, you donate. Give it to people in need. So that's what these high impact activities are all about, and this is what universities love to see. They want to see people who are making a change. Change is not just volunteering and planting trees. That's also important. But you can also make change through different activities that you might not think of. So from now onwards, start thinking about what you can do. And lastly, the SAT. I am very biased, but I think this is one of the best aptitude tests there is in the world. It's a very, very good test that can help a university understand what kind of student you are, what kind of scholarship you might get. So please give it as soon as possible. I gave it right after my AS in October 2023. It's been quite a bit of a long time, but right after my AS, I gave the exam. You can also give it in your AS. I have students who are giving it their AS, so please give it as soon as possible. And now, I know the patience is running, even my throat is getting a little sore. I'm gonna wrap up really quick. But there's a segment that I have to say. And it's going to be a short one, I promise. So please be quiet. Listen to me, because this might help you a lot. You might not remember everything, but if you remember this, I can guarantee you it will help you out. I attend Bryn Mawr. Why? Why a liberal arts college? What is even a liberal arts college, and why is this thing called a college? I went to a university. Why is the name college there? A lot of the times people ask me this sort of questions like, I went to a college, is this a university? So in America, those of you said that you want to study there, college is a synonym for university. In Bangladesh, that's not the case. That is definitely not the case. But in America, it is a synonym. So all of the times you hear, let's say, Haverford College, Swarthmore College, Amherst College, These are top universities, but they're called college simply because of how small they are. These are very, very small institutions. Like my college, we only have 1,350 undergraduate students. In big universities like in New York University, I think each class has 1,350 students. My university consists of 4 years and we only have 1,350 students. It's very low, very, very low. So why would you choose a small university or a liberal arts college? The reason for me, the biggest reason was the financial aid or scholarship. These universities are extremely generous. Extremely generous. Extreme. I cannot just emphasize on how generous these universities are. If you are a good applicant, if you have good grades, good essays, good SAT scores, and everything, they will only, you will only have to pay what your parents can. I repeat, you only have to pay what your parents can. That might be 1 lakh a year, that might be 5 lakhs a year, that might be 25 lakhs a year, depending on your parents' income. Now, these are the sort of things we don't really talk about because these are considered taboo in our society, to talk about finances. And you don't have to talk it with me or with your friends, but talk it with your parents. And then, how do they make this determination? So, for these sort of universities, you have to pay, you have to give them submit some documents that your parents know about, some tax documents and everything. And after that, if they deem that yes, they want to admit you, your parents will only have to pay a very small percentage of it. For example, my parents are only paying like 5%. So it's very, very low. It's extremely low. So for most of us here, we are middle class people. We don't have, unlimited money. We don't have unlimited assets. So for those of you who are concerned that you don't want to burden your parents a lot, like I did, I personally didn't want to burden my parents with too much. Liberal arts colleges, these small colleges, they might be your best friend. For me, these were because I knew that I loved small classes. In my class, we have like 10 to 30 people. It's a very small class, and the teacher, they know your name. They will know what your favorite color is. They will know what you like to do. They will know you on a personal level. So these sort of things, they don't happen in large universities. So that's where liberal arts come to play. The other thing here is you can see something called Seven Sisters highlighted. Seven Sister colleges. So for all my male students here, unfortunately, you guys are not eligible to apply to Bryn Mawr College because it's still an all-women's college. However, there are still 34 more liberal arts colleges that give full tuition away, full ride even, that you guys can apply to, so don't get disheartened. You can apply to the other colleges. But for Bryn Mawr specifically, it's an all-women's college. So for all my female students up here, you guys will love it. I sincerely love it. And the tag Seven Sisters, even like 200, 300 years ago, females were not allowed to go to universities. Like we still had Harvard, we still had Cornell, we still had Brown. But I couldn't go and attend because I'm a woman. So these are the universities that were established 200 years ago, 150 years ago, as a counterpart to Ivy League, so women can also get education. And my college, Bryn Mawr College, still remains an all-women's college. Some of the universities, they have become co-education now for both male and female students, but mine still has only female students. And it's an amazing and historic university. You will find, you guys have seen the National Parliament, like Satmasjid Bhavan. The same architect, Louis Khan, the one he did it, Louis Khan, my bad. He's also the architect of my dorm that I currently live in America. So I think that alone can give you an idea of how prestigious Bryn Mawr is and how much I love it. The other important thing is I don't want to be surrounded by female students all of the time. It's a rule. I want to get a lot more variety. It's only 30, 50 students. I want to be around more people. So if you go to Bryn Mawr or you go to Haverford, which is co-educational, you go to Swarthmore, co-educational, University of Pennsylvania, Ivy League, co-educational, we have something called a Quaker Consortium. So you can be a student at Bryn Mawr. Let's say you attend Bryn Mawr. You can go and take classes at Haverford. You can take classes at UPenn and Ivy League. You can take classes at Swarthmore. The same goes for if you go to Haverford. If you are a Haverford student, you can also take classes in the other universities. So what does that give you? What's the advantage? The biggest advantage is you get to meet a lot more people. You get to get different perspectives. You can choose which professor you want to study under. If I went to another university, I'll have maybe two choices for a teacher. I can either study under teacher A or teacher B. Now I have more than 10 options. I can choose a professor that I really want to study, whose interest aligns with me, and I feel that I connect the best with that person. So now you have a lot more choice, and you also have a lot more job opportunities because of the various job fairs in all of the universities combined. Quaker Consortium, most people in Bryn Mawr or Haverford or Swarthmore, whichever you end up attending, they have a very high. I think 98% of our students end up going to industry. They end up getting a job right after college. So it's a very good thing. It's also very, very close to Philadelphia, which is the capital of Pennsylvania. This is the state Bryn Mawr is, and you get a free train ride actually. Like my train rides, I can go to Philadelphia for free. I go to Philadelphia often, and you can just go there. It's a historic city. It's where the Declaration of Independence was signed. So you can have a lot more fun. And this is actually the second last slide. At the end of the day, there is no perfect student. There's only the most honest one. A lot of the time people feel, okay, honest, does that mean that I don't just have to lie? No. That means you're honest to yourself. You're studying properly. You're honest to your parents. You're doing the best you can. You're honest to your teachers. You're completing the homework. So a big part of Bryn Mawr is honesty. We have something called the honor code. So when we are here giving exams, there are like teachers invigilating all over. They're going around, they're checking if you guys are cheating. We don't have that in Bryn Mawr. In Bryn Mawr, whenever there's an exam, the teacher is not even in the room. The teacher leaves the room. And it's not that we have CCTV cameras. Don't think that we have CCTV cameras in the classroom. We don't. Bryn Mawr has this thing called honor code, which means that each student they admit, before admitting, they talk to you. You have an online interview. They will read your essays, and they will find out if they think you are an honest person. If they think you are an honest person, they'll consider admitting you, so you can fit in with that culture. My friends, I have like a lot of friends there, and I don't think any of them have ever cheated in their entire life. And we plan to keep it that way. So the level of trust there is in these sort of universities, a lot of the universities in America have honor code. It's impossible. Like here, you cannot maybe imagine it, but there, these people are living it. So please be honest to yourself, your teachers, your parents, honest to God, and just try your best for everything that is. And thank you so much for listening to me for such a long time. I know it's been a while, you guys are waiting to leave, but if you have any questions, I'll be here for a bit. I also have a few brochures of Bryn Mawr, if you're interested, especially for the female students, so please feel free to pick one up. And thank you so much.
If you have to do something differently, so what would you have done? Like what minor changes would you have done from class 8 to like anything different you want to have done?
So I think I will be speaking for all of my friends who are in university right now, that what would we do differently. 99% of us would answer, we wish we knew more about university applications when we were younger. A lot of the people, they start in grade 12 or after grade 12, which I feel is even worse because you don't get enough time. So if you start from a very young age, I wish I knew all of this when I told you in grade 8. My life would have been a lot easier. I would have just known when to give the SAT, when to give IELTS, when to start applying, when to write essays, when to do everything. So start as soon as possible. You will not regret it. Trust me, this will be one of the best things that you've ever done.
Thank you so much, Sarika, and thank you to all of you students for giving the exam and then coming here to listen and speak. Please visit our Academia Islands and Study Abroad program for more information. If you want to ask, we have our teachers there. Thank you, and you all can leave now.